The video contains spoilers. To define something as beautiful is more than to say it looks appealing. We often associate beauty with people, but many things can be beautiful. A picture, a work of art, a song, a movie, and yes, even video games. I asked some of my friends on Discord, what defines a game as beautiful to you? To which I got responses like this. And funnily enough, I even got a response talking about the subject of today's video. See, when someone asks me for an example of a beautiful game, I'll say Xenoblade. But if they asked me a second time, I'd easily respond with Final Fantasy X. A game that I can only describe as something beautiful. When people hear the word beautiful, they think good looks. Hell, many of those Discord responses were about this. Well, good thing this game does look beautiful.
But PS2.
Yeah, character models are low poly and shit, but at least the main characters look great in the remaster, right? Although not everyone agrees with this statement. Listen, as stated before in my Wind Waker video, a game, no matter how old, can still look good, great even, if the art direction is strong enough. This is why most 16-bit games still look gorgeous. This game has an amazing art direction, specifically in its level design. It feels like every area in this game was designed to make the player feel eased in for what stage of the game you enter. Zanarkand is all bombastic, bristling with life. It looks amazing and lived in. Like this could be an actual city. It exists as if to say, this is our game. Look at it in basking glory, bitches. And I'm glad they did, seeing as this was Square's gambit to get them out of red ink, and also their first game on the brand spankin' new PS2. Zanarkand is meant to hook the player in, and it does with its story beats. The ruins are meant to be an introduction to non-combat aspects of the game, as well as giving a calming vibe complemented by dark and cool colors to make you feel relaxed after the excitement of Zanarkand. And then there's Besaid. Oh my god, Besaid! Besaid is an amazing, calming, warm welcome to Spira. Where Zanarkand and the ruins are a tutorial, Besaid is the actual start of the game, seeing as it's at the bottom of the map and you work your way up throughout the game. It has waterfalls, green grass, and calming beaches. You get a lot of exposure here as well as meeting a majority of the main cast. It's soothing, pleasant to be in, all to make you feel good right before we witness the worst. Kilika is only for the purpose of showing you what the summoners are up against and why they go on their pilgrimages. Pilgrimages, that's a weird word to say. It also shows how the bad of this world works. Kilika explains what fiends are, what Yuna's purpose is as a summoner, introducing other summoners, how widespread the influence of both Yevon and Sin is. Thus, it's all destroyed and plant-themed, showing that nature is taking over, humanity is dwindling, all at the hands of Sin. Or is it at the fins of Sin? Like, you see he's a whale, so like, Luca exists to cheer you up. It's a smaller scaled Zanarkand with a Scooby-Doo-esque conflict, and it's here to show that although things kinda suck right now, there's still something to be happy about in life. Oh, and also, Seymour is not terrifying at all, and totally a good guy, and not super obviously evil. The High Roads. Mihen and Jose are gray. Very gray. almost as if to represent some sort of corruption within a world-leading organization. And then there's the miserable atmosphere after the boss fight. So, in reality, Luca was a misdirect, and Jose is to show that Yevon is failing, and has been for a long time. Even Yevon acknowledges this. The Moonflow. I mean, look at this. This is just, like, this is great. Must I say more? Guadosalam is nice, peaceful, calming, as a sort of rest point, where we learn more about the world and Tidus, and then there's the whole Seymour thing to remind you that Spira is still a shitty place. The Thunder Plains act as a transitioning point for the game, signaling you are now in the second half of the game. Thus, we have calming music to go along with this fucking mini-game. Macalania Lake and Macalania Woods, god that name is so weird, have a very cool blue color scheme. Still keeping in place with the dark theme, but also giving a more spiritual vibe as we get closer and closer to the truth of Spira, as well as the truth about Seymour. Beaconell is meant to be the exact opposite of the rest of Spira. No wonder it's the home of the Al-Bhed, the people who Yevon hate and oppose. The Calmlands, as the name implies, act as the calm before the storm. This area is meant to be the most calming and relaxing, so we have the most chill music, the least conflict, and most importantly, the area that looks like a place from an older Final Fantasy game, as if it's trying to trigger nostalgia to keep you at ease. After this, it's officially endgame territory. Mount Gagazet is snowy, cold, and harsh, just like how the rest of the world is towards Yuna's party, considering they're all considered traitors right now. It's also snowy and wintry. Winter is the last season of the year. Like I said, this is endgame territory. Also, it's literally an uphill climb to the climax of the game. After seeing what Zanarkand once was, we now come to what it is now. Truly, this is the end. Everything must come crumbling down once the dream ends. Speaking of dreams, Sin's environment is dreamlike in the most literal sense. It's almost unreal looking, but it still seems to revolve around the theme of coming to an end, which is fitting as this is the last area of the game. And nothing, and I mean nothing, boosts all of these things going for the areas more than the music. The music in this game can't be described as anything but beautiful, or a masterpiece. Simply put, if the game wants you to feel a specific way, the music will make sure of it, 100%. The music does an absolutely stellar job of enhancing the immersion of this game. Just look at the game's most iconic song, To Zanarkand. When you first start up the game, you know you'll never forget these 7 notes. It has such a somber tone, and yet it's trying to say more than that. It's saying, look at me. Look at me! Hell, Tidus says it best. Listen to my story. And then there are the other bangers in this soundtrack. The tension-rising battle music, the whimsical nature of the title screen song, the heartfelt goodbye message of when the dream ends, course, fucking grunge rock for the final boss theme. Absolute fucking banger. And Besaid's theme. Don't even get me started at the eargasming experience this song provides. And of course, there is the absolute atmospheric masterpiece that is the Yevon chant. I love it so much. Let's also not forget the emotional beats of the characters' themes. That's such a weird word. Let's take Yuna's, for example. Speaking of the characters in this game all have amazing arcs. Except Kimahri. Tidus finally graduates from a crybaby child to a man who accepts that when all of this is over, he's going to die. Too bad Final Fantasy X-2 ruined this. He's fallen in love with this world and its people, yet he needs to say goodbye before he even gets a chance to enjoy his stay. This game was the turning point in the series, so obviously it shows the main character growing up in a way we have yet to see before from Final Fantasy. Hi, it's post-storyboarding me here to mention that it was absolutely criminal not to mention Tidus and Jecht's relationship in this game, and just how amazing Tidus is when it comes to dealing with his father issues. And I just want to mention that it is absolutely stellar, the relationship between both Jecht and Tidus. And I know I'm not the only one who actually really felt something in their last conversation. Yuna accepts her role as the world's savior, as well as the one to challenge the ideals of Yevon. She has to go against what she's been taught her entire life, and she almost didn't because she lacked the courage to do so. Thankfully, she had Tidus at her side, a man who has no biases to the way this world works. And before I go on about the characters, I want to further talk about the beauty of the relationship these two share. It was obvious from the moment they met that Tidus and Yuna were fascinated by one another. Tidus sees the pilgrimage as an opportunity to not only learn more about the world, but also to spend more time with Yuna. And as the game goes on, we learn that these two are more similar than we once thought. And we also have the idea that Yuna will die at the end of this journey, which worries Tidus. But then later on, the roles are reversed, so we get to see the lovebirds react to the possibility of losing each other. Hell, they grew so close that as their romance blossomed, they became each other's motivation to live. Until Tidus realizes that it's either him or Yuna. I just wanted to go on a side tangent about how much I love their relationship. It's like one of the only romances in video games that I actually like. Anyway, back to the other characters. Auron is a man who's been on this journey once before, but this time, he wishes to end the cycle of sin instead of simply starting it up again like last time. A sort of securing the future for the next generation type deal, and let me tell you, he's always had an air of mystery to him, and just when you think you know everything he's hiding, there's something new and shocking, and let me tell you, when he goes out like a fucking champ. Waka. Come on, we all know the memes. We all know he goes from racist to not racist. I'm not going to say any more than that. Lulu is a sort of mini Waka in the sense that she goes from not believing Tidus's whole spiel to actually tolerating Tidus and being more open to him, and eventually we see her openly accepting him not only as an ally, but as a friend.
Why don't you tell him he should?
Should what?
Become Yuna's guardian.
Why me?
Because Yuna can't.
Why not?
He hates his father. What he was, what he did. Do you really think she can possibly say to him, I want you to be my guardian, like your father was to mine?
Aren't you being oversensitive? All right.
Riku actually doesn't really have much of a character arc, but instead acts as a catalyst for Waka's de-radicalization, Yuna's decision to rebel, also aided by Tidus, and to teach Tidus about the dark parts of this world, which is very needed for both the audience and our fish-out-of-water protagonist. This entire party also has amazing chemistry with the ways they interact with each other, but I realize that this is starting to get along, so here's a relationship web I made instead. Now, look, I know you saw the chapter marker and were thinking, gameplay? How the hell can gameplay be beautiful? I mean, after all, PS2. Nah, this gameplay truly is beautiful because it opened my eyes in the 9th dimension. But first, let me just preface really quickly, I fucking hate turn-based combat. I hate it. It is so archaic and slow and unbearable, even in games I like. But this game did something magical. It made turn-based combat good. Great, even. This game is the pinnacle of turn-based combat, and one of the only 2 games that gets it right. The second is Xenogears, by the way. Final Fantasy X has some good-ass combat. First of all, the second you choose a command, the character will instantly do it. Final Fantasy IX may be the best Final Fantasy, but when I'm playing, there are times where a party member will attack and I think, you haven't gone yet? The main complaint with turn-based combat is that it's slow. Does this look slow to you? Second, you can build your party however you want. Sure, there's an intended level-up path for your party to follow, but there's no punishment for straying from that path, unlike Final Fantasy XIII. Just make sure one of your party members learns Heistaga. Speaking of said path, I just want to quickly shout out the Sphere Grid for being a perfect strength progression system. The way it works is absolutely fucking beautiful, and the 2 different versions in the remaster make it even better. Third, the game tells you the turn order of fights. The only other game I've seen do this is Persona 3. I don't know why they took it out of 4 and 5, but whatever. It's a useful thing to have, and I don't see why other games don't do this. Fourth, each character has a special move called an overdrive that is unique to that character. They all present themselves in a fun little minigame, except for Yuna because she is the only character who can summon, and Riku who initially has the use command, so they did something unique with these 2. So even though you can build your party however you want, there's still some uniqueness to them. Fifth, and this is the most important one, you can change your party members in and out immediately, and at no cost. This doesn't make the game too easy, it just makes it a better strategy game. So, the combat? Godlike. What about the other aspects of gameplay? Well, I've already stated how exploration and minigames are good in my video about Final Fantasy XIII, so link in the description. But what if you're tired of everything else? Well, the game breaks this all up with the temples as puzzles. The temples puzzle segment. Fuck. They have an excellent progression and logic difficulty. I have never been bored when playing through this game. Except when there's a long cutscene before a tough boss that I can't skip. Fuck. Look, I'm going to be honest here. I honestly have no clue how exactly I'm going to explain how this game's story is beautiful. It just is, okay? I honestly don't think I can do it without going through the entire plot step by step, but that's boring and would take an eternity. If you've played this game, then you probably already know that this game's story is its best quality, and that it really is something worth playing for yourself. Anyway, here's just a quick rundown of elements that stand out especially. To me, at least. The themes of self-sacrifice and how each character sacrifices something for others' sake. How loss is handled. I'm honestly surprised I didn't think to talk about this earlier. A lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, die in this game, so seeing how everyone takes losing both people they care for, or hell, even a part of themselves, shows a lot of depth to these characters. As stated before, I love seeing the relationship between Tidus and Yuna, but I also love the motif of the whistle. It not only has some thematic significance I'm sure of, but also it's a great showcase of how their relationship developed in the moments we see the whistle. So please, if you've yet to play this game, you already probably know too much from what I've said so far, but you should not refrain from buying this game and playing it just because I've given too much away already. This game's on all current gen consoles in an HD remaster, and it's pretty cheap. The story will make you excited, it will make you happy, it will make you sad, and it will make you angry. The story of this game is simply a masterpiece. No, beautiful. Please play this game now. Even if you're not into JRPGs, I highly recommend this game. It's on all current gen consoles and Steam for $25, and even if it's not worth your money, it is most certainly worth your time. I can't tell you how thankful I am that I've played this game and that I have spread the word of the gospel twice over now. For real though, play this fucking game, because simply put, Final Fantasy X is something beautiful. Thank you for watching the video, and before you leave, I just want to quickly thank my friend Penguin Mage for heavily helping with the script writing in this video. This is her favorite game, and I did not want to do it a disservice with this video, so I'm putting her Twitter handle on screen. Please go follow her, she deserves all the love and respect, and she was a huge help to writing this script. Alright, see ya.